Okay, good morning, everyone. It's really good to see your faces and names. Um, soon, soon you could be back in the office, but we do have some good things to cover today. So I want to get started here. Let me actually share my screen. Yeah, somebody else wants in. And come here and share. And see who else is here? Kathy and George. Okay, we'll let them in. Okay, minimize that. Okay, so let's go. Put this off to the side and hit my slideshow. Right, there we go. And we'll get this meeting started. Okay, so welcome to our March 9th meeting. Although they're not joining us today because I didn't send them the link, I do want to just thank everyone for using Legendary Escrow, Landwood Title, Axia Home Loans. I think, oops, I forgot to delete that, of Maria Hill. She's not going to be here today. Anyway, thank you so much for utilizing our services. It just keeps every transaction, moving smoothly and our company strong. So it is important, and I do say thank you for that. Amanda, you want to say hello to the troops?
Hello. We'll be having, Melissa will be in the office for title on the 30th of this month at 11 a.m. I haven't really had anybody sign up, so if you guys are interested to get some one-on-one time with her, go ahead and send me an email or call me and I can put you down on the list. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Yeah, if you've not met with Melissa yet, you need to do so. Get your TitleFi app downloaded, get your farm ordered, and get those emails and phone numbers. Um, I got to tell you, listings are going to start coming more and more. You need to be top of mind. Don't wait till the flood comes and then say, oh, I think I'll market myself, because you've missed the boat. You need to be marketing yourself, I mean, week after week after week. Be in front of those people now. So when they decide to pull the trigger, you're top of mind. You're going to be the person there. So if you haven't done it yet, let's get it going so you can take advantage of the market that's just about to come. And speaking of here, congratulations on our listing agents month to date. Again, these are pulled from Skyslope. So if you got a listing this month and it's not in here, it's because that you have not put your file in Skyslope yet. So do that. But congratulations to Linda Kroll, DeVern, Marty Butler, and Lance Frank on your listings this month to date so far. Our goal is 32 listings, so let's make that happen. Okay, there we go. And then on the sales side, we have March escrows. We have a lot of sales. Go figure. We have a lot of business out there and a lot of buyers. So congratulations to Vicky and Lance, George Lopez team, Loris, Angie, Nemi, Judy, Deborah, and Terry, Mark's Real Estate Group. Whoop, whoop. Linda Kroll, Julia, Gary, George Lopez team again, Kennedy team, George Lopez team again, and Doris and Lupe. So congratulations on all your efforts. Certainly not easy out there right now. And so believe me, I'm on the phone every day with sellers and buyers of your transactions, and it's a little nuts, but we're going to navigate through it. Keep everyone calm is our job. I always say we are like, the ducks floating in the water. Above the water, we're just cool and calm and collected. And under the water, we're pedaling like our lives depended on it. And that's really what our job is in escrow, is to just make sure we're keeping people calm, make sure that we're crossing T's and dotting I's is super important. Um, Please, if anything substantial happens in your transaction, if you see tensions escalating, please note your file so that when I get the phone call, I can go into your Skyslope file, look at the notes and say, I see what's going on here. So it just makes my job to protect you easier. So thank you for making sure your file is always updated. And then, of course, please, if something else comes up on your transaction, just reach out and call me. Give me a heads up before the phone rings. it just makes it, again, easier to take care of you. Okay, mark your calendars on Tuesday, the time limit, or actually Tuesday, we're okay. So Tuesday, March 16th, 9 a.m. Melda has the sign-up sheet at the front desk, but we're limiting to 25 in the office unless some miraculous happens and we're allowed more before. But we will be sending you the Zoom link, and we're going to have breakfast and celebrate. I'm just so proud of everybody in this office because, you know, 2020 was a challenging year for a lot of people, personally and business-wise for some. So I'm just really proud of everybody for all their efforts. First thing I want to start on, because Skyslope will take about 30 minutes, but I want to talk about what to expect now that DOJ, the Department of Justice, and NAR, the National Association of Realtors, I think they've come to a settlement. Hi, Debbie. Hi. They've come to a settlement, and I'm told that their final negotiations is about 60 days away. And so what does that actually mean? So I want you to just see this short snippet here so you get an understanding. Okay. And here's what you can expect.
Hello, I'm Charlie Alford, the 2021 President of the National Association of Realtors. Today, the National Association of Realtors reached an agreement with the United States Department of Justice, DOJ, to make certain changes to the Code of Ethics and MLS policies regarding providing information about commissions and MLS participation. While our rules and policies have created a competitive and efficient market that benefits home buyers and sellers, we sometimes engage with government entities to ensure that NAR's rules are kept current and promote those goals. Grounded in our commitment to act in the best interests of buyers and sellers, we regularly update our rules and policies to protect consumers and provide transparency. In response to questions from the DOJ, we have been working to explain our rules, and we have reached an agreement that fully resolves the questions raised by the DOJ about the MLS system and commissions. We want to be absolutely clear. While NAR disagrees with the DOJ's characterization of our rules and policies, and NAR admits no liability, wrongdoing, or truth of any allegations by the DOJ, NAR has agreed to make certain changes to its rules to address the questions raised by the DOJ. This agreement allows NAR to remain focused on supporting you, our members, as you preserve, protect, and advance the American dream of homeownership. Furthermore, the agreement does not subject NAR to any fines or payments. Here's what you need to know about how it will impact you and your business. Although final language of the rules will be determined by NAR's board of directors, most of the changes seek to more explicitly state what is already the spirit and intent of NAR's Code of Ethics and MLS policies regarding providing information about commissions and MLS participation. Number one, in accordance with MLS System's long-standing focus on creating an efficient, transparent marketplace for home buyers and sellers, the amount of compensation offered to buyers agents for each MLS listing will be made publicly available. Publicly accessible MLS data feeds will include offers of compensation, and buyers agents will have an affirmative obligation to provide such information to their clients for homes of interest. Number two, the rule changes reaffirm that MLSs and brokerages, as always, must provide consumers all properties that fit their criteria, regardless of compensation offered or the name of the listing brokerage. Number three, While NAR has long encouraged buyer's agents to explain how they expect to be paid, typically through offers of cooperative compensation from seller's agents, there will be a rule that more definitively states that buyer's agents cannot represent their services as free to clients. And finally, with the seller's prior approval, a licensed real estate agent will have access to the lockboxes of properties listed on the MLS, even if the agent does not subscribe to the MLS. We expect these changes to take effect in about 60 days, during which time they will be subject to approval by both our board of directors and the DOJ. For additional questions, please refer to the FAQs and other information that will be made available on nar.realtor. If your question still has not been answered, contact Katie Johnson, NAR's General Counsel and Chief Member Experience Officer, or Leslie Muko, NAR's Deputy General Counsel. Thank you for your time today.
Okay, so let's go back here. So what does that actually mean? You know, it just, here's what's going to happen. And we're really wanting to cover this. So there is a paradigm shift in our industry right now over commissions. And you know, there's too many people in the whole Department of Justice. The whole principle against coming to NAR is well, first of all, they believe we make way too much money. And so they're looking and they think the fees are exorbitant, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What we see as far as changing in the industry is, and we're seeing it now. How many listings are you seeing out there at a full 6%? Right? They're less and less. They go to 5%, then they go to 4%. Some of the things I'm seeing, we're seeing 1% now on the MLS for certain listings. So what do we do about it? And the first thing that we're going to have to learn to get really good at is getting our buyer representation agreement. And I know we really hate doing that. It's one of those things that we think I'd really rather not. But here's the deal. We're going to have to get good at telling our client that my fee for showing properties and writing an offer and negotiating and working from contract to close, so to speak, is 3%. Typically, I'm paid from the listing side, but in this particular case, I'm getting, or in some cases, they may only be offering 1%. And in that case, I'm going to ask that you cover the remaining 2% or the remaining 1% or whatever fee it is that, you know, you're going to charge.
Can I just have you come with me and say that? Oh my God.
We'll get really good at this. Typically, right? My fee for doing this is 3%, representing a buyer. I get paid normally from the listing side, but if the listing side is not paying me, or if they're only paying me a portion, I'm going to look to you to pay the remaining fee. Here's the agreement, sign here. And you're going to get that buyer broker agreement signed because there's going to be a time, and I want you to be aware of this, that we're going to go get a listing, or agents are going to go get listings, and they're going to take 3% listings, offering 0 to the buyer agent. And you're going to see that on the MLS. So it's going to be incumbent upon us to get really good at it. Being professionals, you know, when we go and we hire an attorney, when we go and hire any professional, we have to sign an agreement before we even meet with that professional, correct? So we're going to be no different. And we're starting now. I want you to get into that frame of mind now, because as you see the MLS, as you see these things roll out, it's going to be really important that you get good at taking care of paying you. Okay, so let me go to the chat here. I see a couple questions. Is the listing agent required to advertise their commission too, or is it just the buyer's agent that's required? Will this mean commission could be applied to the RPA now? No. Well, the answer is I'm not sure. about the first question, is the listing agent required to advertise their commission too? I would think the answer is yes, because commissions cannot be a secret. As of right now, it's still a violation to bring commissions into the purchase agreement. And we do see that periodically. So the purchase agreement is between the buyer and seller. Commissions are between the brokerages, right? So if we cannot bring commissions into the purchase agreement and say, purchase price to be this, if I get paid this, that's a violation, because that's between the parties and you're not a party to the transaction. You need to work out your fees before that commission or that purchase agreement's even written. Will listing agent's commission be public? I think the answer is probably. I'm not 100% sure, but what I'm told is commissions are going to be posted on the MLS. So I would imagine if they have the buy side commission, they're going to have the sell side, but I'm not 100% on that. They're still rolling out some of these rules. Okay, good questions. Thank you.
So when it said that we needed to notify the buyer of the commission, does that mean, so my buyer says, I'd like to see this house. I say, great, we have a agreement that I get paid 3, this one is only paying 2.5. So you'd be on the hook for the other half? Is that what
I don't know if you can hear DeVern's question, and these are really good questions. So when you ask, speak up, because they're good questions. And it's so early right now, it's hard to say exactly how it's going to roll out. But here's what I see. I see a buyer calling you and saying, hi, I got your name from, or I saw your son, whatever it is, you're going to get that phone call. And you're going to set the appointment in the office, or in the office is probably the most professional place you can meet somebody, right? So you're not doing this on the trunk of your car unless you absolutely have to. But you meet your client and you start talking about what their needs are, what's going on, just like a first interview with anybody. So you're going to have this conversation, and then you're going to talk about your fees. And you're going to say, my fees for representing a buyer is my fee is 3%. And so you're going to cover what you do for that fee. And again, you're going to reach out and say, you're going to see on the MLS what commissions are being offered when I give you those handouts or when I'm sending you these forms. So you'll be able to see exactly where you stand and where for each property. I mean, and they'll be able to calculate that into whatever they are thinking. Does that make sense? So if they're thinking of writing an offer, and how much their expenses are, they're going to know before they even walk into that property, because you're going to, you'll have the MLS printouts of what the listing side is paying you, and they'll know if they're going to have to bring anything to the table too. And of course, it's all up for negotiation. This isn't etched in stone. This is what you have to do. There's got to be some flexibility there. So that's where I see that. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, I think.
Okay. I think it does need to be addressed up front.
Gina, when you go to the doctor's office, you're right, you have to sign an agreement that if your insurance doesn't cover everything, then you're responsible for the rest of the fee.
Absolutely.
And
this is no different.
Right. And so I think the public is slowly getting educated, because we didn't used to have to sign those contracts. Now everything is boom, right before you have it. This is what you're signing. And I think that the tools they've given us, that the buyers, the purchasing agreement, the buyer's tool where it says why to hire me and stuff, that you can download is really valuable. You can do that just like a listing presentation, but you have it for the buyer's presentation. And
Maria Hill is working on a really nice package that you'll be able to use for those things. Just like we do a marketing proposal for listing presentations, we'll have a marketing proposal for buyers too. So they know what they get. Drew.
Berkshire Hathaway has pretty much, we're supposed to list for 6% across the board. Is there going to be any leniency that way, since we're going into this kind of market?
I mean, there's always times where we have
but we have to come to you with each time deck. Yeah.
The answer is well, let me back up for 1 second. I hear agents all the time saying, what are the splits? What are the splits I want to raise, right? I mean, let's just be honest here. You need to think of that instead of discounting your fees, think about giving yourself a raise by standing up and fighting for your fees.
Well, yeah,
With that being said, we've always been flexible. There are times we have to go for 5%. If it's dropping below 5%, I really would like, I need to talk to Gordon, Gordon periodically will call me and say, what's going on with this? Why did we take it so low? So I just need to be aware of what's going on, what the circumstances are. So just pull me into the loop. If you might have a client who is just digging their heels in, we can talk about it. We can just talk about what's going to work and what's not going to work. We never want to walk away from transactions. Understand that. Our goal is to list and sell properties.
Gina,
Julie has a question, and I have a comment.
Okay, my question is, what would keep a buyer when this goes public and people start reading about it and hearing about it? Because there's gonna be a lot of information out there. Because for years, everybody knew that the commission was split or whatever. What's gonna keep a buyer from not just going straight to the,
listing
seller,
agent.
listing agent?
Well, because it's going to be exactly the same. See, if a listing agent, and remember, commission's already posted on the MLS, if the listing agent is taking a 3% commission, right, and offering 0 to the buyer's agent, now this buyer's coming to the listing agent saying, I just want you to represent me. The listing agent, if he's going to get paid for that buyer, guess what he has to do? A buyer representation agreement saying, my fee for representing a buyer is 3%. So now he's getting 3 on the selling side and 3 on the buying side. So that is the same as everything else, right? Yeah, so it's not really, I mean, it could,
Or he could choose to not do it.
or he could choose to not even represent.
Yeah, that's the
And that
thing.
might be coming down the pipe
No,
too, you never
and
know.
He could choose to not do a buyer agreement, just do the whole deal.
Yeah,
He could do the whole thing for 3%. I mean, again, there comes a time where we're business people. You run a business. And so there are going to be times you have to make a business decision. Do I want to represent this person? And how much am I going to charge this? Right? So we're just going to be juggling with that as we get better and better at it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, when we first talked about this situation, we talked about putting a kind of a positive spin on our first contact with that buyer. And it explained the whole thing about fiduciary duty, and that a seller's agent owes the fiduciary duty to the seller, not to you, Mr. Buyer. And we think your interests require the same protection the seller gets. Would you like me to represent you as the buyer?
Absolutely. That's a great way of putting it. Thank you. Question. So this would be classified as part of the buyer's closing costs. It could be if the buyer is kicking in some money, then yes, it would be part of the buyer's closing costs. I wonder how a lender will view this additional cost. Will buyer need to bring cash to closing to cover the fee? That's going to be a lender question. I would think it would be no different than any other cost or fees involved in a transaction, and the lender's going to have to look at the big picture with debt to income ratios, money in bank, etc. And they'll make that determination. Don't we accept what we are paid based on the listing? Well, only if they're paying us. I mean, you certainly, if the listing's offering 2.5%, for example, you absolutely can accept, but you're going to have a buyer representation agreement. Potentially, you might take a big BRE at 2.5%. I personally think we're worth 3% on one side, right? Because we work hard. And in this market, we're working harder than we've ever worked in our lives, most of us, right? It's not easy out there right now. So the answer is yes, we certainly could accept that. And we can tell the buyer, you know what, I'll take the 2%. I'll take the 2.5% and I'll waive that extra 0.5%. Sorry. 0.5% or 1%. Everything's going to be negotiable. But we'll look at that on a case-by-case basis. Great questions, you guys. I appreciate it. Any other questions?
So if a listing agent takes a 3% listing, they're basically saying, there's no money going to the buyer's agent.
Well, unless they take 3%, keep 2 and give 1.
Okay.
I mean, there's lots of scenarios here, and so I don't know what a listing agent's gonna do. I
Well,
think we as listing agents,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
Krista Coyle's always done, but I mean, she's up in the multi-million. But she's always gotten creative, and she's offered, I think, when she takes a 6%, she offers 4 to the buyer's agent to get them to, which we're not supposed to do, but pay more attention to her listing.
well,
But I've
I mean,
I've
again,
noticed that
lots of
she's very
things,
creative and very successful, so yeah.
there's gonna be lots of things that are gonna be negotiated. And so we'll look at it as we go. And of course, this is a big subject, so we're certainly gonna be talking about it more and more as more information rolls out. So
Isn't part of this whole thing that we're not supposed to search or pay attention to listings based on commission paid? Now, isn't that kind of what the
Yeah, I think so, I got that.
well, what it means is we have to show, if a buyer comes and says, I want a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home on the golf course in Indian Wells between 400,000 and 500,000, we need to at least provide them with the listings of every 3-bedroom, 3-bath home on a golf course in Indian Wells between, 400,000 and 500,000. Regardless, even if it pays 0 commission, we have to provide. Now, if they say, I only want to see this one, this one, this one, that's up to the buyer. But we have to show them everything. We can't show them based on getting a higher commission split. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other questions before we move on? Yep. There we go. Okay.
There was another question right above Vicky's question there, I think.
Wording to request credit at close to cover buyer's fees. Let's get to that when we have more information, but everything is negotiable. Just understand, everything is negotiable. So if you're asking, just remember though, we're in a market right now, and I don't know what the market's going to be like in, 3 months or 6 months. We feel it's pretty good, and I think there's still going to be a huge activity. But regardless, let's say you want to write an offer, just like now, your offer is going to say seller to credit buyer up to 3% of purchase price toward closing costs. You can, that's not going to change. You can still do that. So let's look at each scenario with each buyer, just like we do today, and then make a decision how best to handle that. The seller can counter, the seller can accept it, it's whatever the seller and the buyer negotiate back and forth. Our negotiating skills have to get really good. So go into the resource center. There's some great classes on negotiating. The convention most likely will have some really good topics on negotiating. These are really good things that you want to make sure you're getting that education so you get really good at it. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Why is our industry, everything's negotiable, but say at the doctor's office or at the lawyer's office, it's not negotiable. This is their fee.
Good question. It's because we are so desperate to make that sale. We'll go, okay, I want $10,000, even if it's not $20,000, I don't care. We got to learn to be strong. And doctor's offices basically say, get out.
Yeah.
So,
and with this new stuff that's coming down the pipe, did the Department of Justice just decide to focus on us? Where is this coming from?
it's coming from a lot of complaints about realtors. It all comes back to antitrust violations, setting fees and doing things that they don't feel are appropriate.
Right. So the antitrust affects our industry, but setting fees is happening in all these other industries. I ought to do a research thing and file out the letter to.
There you go, Mary Ann. Go get them.
Damn it, I'm going to write a letter again.
Okay. Any other questions before we move on? All right. Well, I'm really excited of what we're moving on to here because
I hope it's better news.
it is much better news. You guys are going to get excited because this is so cool. As of right now, we have all gone into Zipforms. We've pulled up our contracts. We've typed them all up. We've sent them out digital signature. Then we forward them into Skyslope. We attach them to the checklist, and it's been a pretty good system. But now Skyslope is integrating with Zipforms. So everything you do, you're going to be able to do right from Skyslope. So this is a video. I wanted you to see it, and I'm doing it right now. It's about 30 minutes, but I want you to see how easy it's going to be for you to get your files uploaded, your contracts done, and everything all at once. Skyslope Forms 2021. Okay, just in case it asks me. There it is.
Gina, the last video we just only saw I just only saw your page. I didn't get to see the video. I could hear it but not see it.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Same here.
Okay. Maybe you'll be able to see it when you get the recording. Uh-oh. Oh, that's what I missed. Okay, the exclamation. Try that. There we go. Fine. Oh, for crying out loud. Sorry, guys. It's a, what is this? Stop it. Go away.
Just go back to it and then click on.
Actually, this will end at about 26 minutes. The other 10 is Q&A. Okay. Now, can you guys see my screen? Hello?
No, I just see the link. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you.
Same.
Hang on, let me go back here real quick. And how do I get back here? Oh, there it is. New share. I screen. Here we go. Try that.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay, there we go. I just hadn't shared my whole screen, I guess. All right, let's try this. Yeah, it's fine.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining today's Skyslope Masterclass, all about our new Forms tool. I'm going to go ahead and get started here just about a few minutes after the hour. Let everybody hop on and join us here. I know we are expecting quite a crowd, so feel free, heat up your coffee, maybe grab a glass of water. We'll go ahead and jump into today's training here, and again, just about 1 minute.
Let me see if I can speed this along.
I just wanted to let everyone know we'll be keeping everyone on mute as we're moving through today's training. Feel free if you have any questions. I've got a couple of phenomenal helpers, other Skyslopers that are jumping into that chat and that Q&A feature within Zoom. Our preference is if you jump into that Q&A feature, it allows us to stay a little bit more organized. So if you do have any questions as we're moving through today's training, feel free, jump into that Q&A feature and let us know what we can help answer for you. I will also be recording today's training to be able to provide this back as a resource to you and your team. And to start us off, let's go ahead and we'll put a face to the voice here for you. My name is Kira. I'm a customer success manager here at Skyslope. I will be your trainer here today, walking you through our platform. And of course, if you've attended any other Skyslope trainings in the past, you know that we love to introduce you to our support team. For those of you well-versed in Skyslope, of course, I'm sure you've had some great interactions with our lovely support team in the past. However, they are also well-versed in helping you really understand our Forms tool, how that is going to work to speed up your workflow. So feel free, reach out to them at any time if you do have any questions, even after we've completed today's training. They will be here to really walk you through your new tool, making sure that you feel supported and guided as you are really getting comfortable with this new feature we've added to your platform. Now, today's training, it is a masterclass, so we are going to attempt to keep it on the shorter side, but I would definitely prepare for about 30 minutes here. We are going to be covering these 4 topics. We'll be talking about how to utilize templates within your Forms tool. We'll jump in, we'll have the chance to really get involved with those forms and start adding some client details there. We'll go ahead and send that on over to a client of mine so that they have a chance to sign that using our new and improved digital signature tool. And we'll come full circle by wrapping that into your original workflow and showing you how to turn in these documents to your brokerage while working all on one platform. So we know prior to that Forms tool being available here within Skyslope, you used a third-party Forms tool to execute those forms and then bring them into the platform for your brokerage to review. Now, with the addition, you would no longer need to jump back and forth between different platforms here. We're all going to do this within Skyslope. This is definitely going to speed up your workflow here. And I'm excited to show you what that entails. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump out of my presentation and we'll dive right into my Skyslope demo account. All right, guys, so this is pretty familiar to you. This is my Skyslope demo account. This is an agent profile. So for those of you who are admin, of course, you'll notice that you have a couple of additional buttons here, but you'll be able to follow right along with me. Now we know previously in Skyslope, of course, we'd send out those forms for execution. We'd come into our home base here and I'd start off by either creating a listing or creating a transaction, depending on who I am representing here within this transaction. Right now, instead of utilizing that third party, of course, I'm going to access our Skyslope Forms tool using this little apps button up at the top right corner. Now, currently we are launched in I would say about 5 states now with this Forms feature. So for those of you who are jumping on today's training, looking for a sneak peek at what's to come, just recognize that this app button might not be available in your account quite yet, but no worries, it is coming soon. Especially our California users, those forms are going to quickly be approaching your Skyslope platform. You might not see that apps button quite yet, but of course you're here for a reason. Let's go ahead and dive into our Forms tool and take a peek. All right, so right off the bat, when I jump into my Forms tool, it's going to drop me into my currently active files. Now, these guys all have forms assigned to them. These have been sent out for signature. But let's go ahead and start from scratch. Let's go ahead and take this all the way back to the beginning. I personally am an agent. I just had a client of mine reach out to me today. He said, hey, would you mind? I'm actually looking to sell my property. No worries, that's what I'm here for as your agent, my guy. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by creating a new file. Now that I have this new listing, I need to go ahead and grab my forms that I need to send on over to my client, get those signed so I can submit them into my brokerage for review, and also to let everybody know that I have this new listing. To start off, Skyslope is going to ask me who I am representing. For those of you who are familiar with the workflow here, we know in the past we were only creating a property file within Skyslope if we had an address. This is going to open up a lot more opportunity for us to accomplish a lot within the Skyslope platform prior to that address being available. And now what I'm talking about are those of you who are representing your buyers. You of course can send forms out to buyers and assign those forms on back underneath that client's name rather than a property address. For now, of course, I'm still going to use the example I'm working with here. I've got a seller of mine. I need to go ahead and send on over his listing agreement, get that signed so I can proceed with my workflow here. I'm going to go ahead and enter in my client's information right off the bat. As you can see, Michael and I have worked together in the past. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and grab that email address here. For those of you who are working with either a company, trust, or other entity, check this box. We'll provide you with a couple of other options on ways to fill out your forms. And if I was going to include Michael's wife, I would go ahead and add her in here as an additional contact. Now, I've used this property file here in the past, so let me go ahead and grab a new one for us to work with today. Perfect. Now, let's say I was in fact working with a buyer. My buyer went ahead and placed an offer on a home. I could always import MLS data if I was simply looking to send out forms relevant to that property. That property will already be on the MLS, so this will really easily allow me to auto-fill that information, saving me that time of needing to go and look it up, that double data entry. We're simply going to allow you to import that data so it transfers nicely on over to your forms. But for now, of course, since I'm working with a new listing, I have yet to enter that information onto the MLS. I need to make sure I get my listing packet out there first. Next, it's going to ask me how I would like to name my file. Of course, I'm going to utilize the address today, but for those of you, as I was mentioning, if you'd like to name it after your buyer's client, you're more than welcome to do so. Now, Skyslope will ask me if I'd like to start with a template. Now, I'm going to circle back around. We'll talk about templates here after I have a chance to get my forms into my client's hands. However, templates in the Skyslope Forms tool is going to allow you to bundle up these forms so you have them readily available. You don't need to search form by form. Every time you either have a new listing, a buyer, you already have these predetermined. So it makes this process very quick for you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and grab this first one here, my California new listing. Once I hit create, that template is going to grab that bundle for me and provide it for me underneath my property address. Now, let's say my 3618 Ava Way, let's say this is a condo. So I need to go ahead and maybe add in an additional form. I can do so by clicking add forms here. Now, when I do this, it'll bring up my entire library. I have all of my car forms available here. Again, keep in mind, this is a demo account. So the forms that I am looking at are for my California users. However, if I need to jump between associations, I can drop my libraries down, toggle between any association that I am working with, of course. If my brokerage has broker-specific forms, I will find them under my broker library. Now, this is a chosen feature, so if you do not see this, no worries. It just simply means that your brokerage opted out of having brokerage-specific forms here. If I would like to add a specific form, of course, I can use these blue buttons over here on the right side. By clicking add, I'll have my menu appear down at the bottom. If I drop this little arrow up, it'll pull up that pancake and I can see what I'm working with. For now, I'm going to go ahead and stick with my template. I'm happy with the forms I have available for me here. I don't need to add anything else. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and send this guy out for signature. Now, to do so, I can go ahead and check these boxes up at the top. Let's also say I would like to upload maybe the comparables. I had a chance to pull the comparables in the area. I want to make sure that my client knows exactly what we're going to be able to sell his house for. So I can always upload those directly from my desktop here as well. For now, I'm happy. I'm going to go ahead and click fill and send. This is going to jump me into my digital signature tool, our DigiSign 3.0. Or maybe my client is a little bit more old school. I can always download as well. So these have already been populated with the information from that first screen. If I hit download, of course, all of that information will be available already on those forms for me. They can sign with wet signatures if they choose to do so. Now, Skyslope is going to give me a quick view of my forms here, just confirming that these are, in fact, the forms that I would like to send. I can toggle between them on the left side here, or I can simply scroll back and forth and it will bring me through them all. If I need to change my view, I can do so here. And I also have a second opportunity to import MLS data if I opted out of that the first time.
That's so cool.
Let's go ahead and prepare this guy for signature, get this on over to Michael so he has a chance to sign these. And I can go ahead and show my brokerage that I do have this new listing in progress. So I myself, as the agent, I currently have no action needed. Of course, Michael is the only other person on this file so far, so he will need to sign. I'll go ahead and move to the next page here, and this will bring us into our lovely digital signature tool, DigiSign. Now, those of you who are familiar with our past versions of DigiSign will notice that this guy got quite the facelift. We are, we are evolving. We've got all of the bells and whistles available for you here. Not only do we have a color-coded system up the top, if I need to add additional recipients, I can do so here. I also have all of the features available for me up at the top if I need to place additional signature blocks, initials, full name, of course. Check boxes is a new one for those of you who, again, are familiar with our past digital signature tools. We have text fields. You can place text box where you need to and strike through. Now I'm just going to go ahead and grab this checkbox here. I'm going to scroll on down and find a place where I can put these. And just for fun, we'll put it over here off to the side. There we go. Now you'll see when I do utilize my checkboxes over here, it gives me the ability to add to this grouping. I can select how many checkboxes will need to be checked by my client, of course, and I can also mark it as either read only or check by default. So that's a new fun one for you to play around with here. And as you can also see, Skyslope has already taken the initiative to map out my forms for me. So they are already going to come with signature blocks in place, ready to go. So your client can simply jump on in, sign where they need to, and you can move forward with your new listing. So I'm going to go ahead and do so now. We're going to go ahead and click send. I can draft up an email, of course, for my client and send that guy out for signature. Now, once that is complete, I'm going to have access to my in progress envelope. You can see that my status shows me where we are at, and I can also drop my menu down using these three dots if I would like to see if my client has opened the envelope quite yet. Resend if they request me to do so, of course, or cancel the signing if I need to come back and make any adjustments. Now, my client on the other end, I'm going to go ahead and jump into my inbox here. Refresh my page, and oh, look, if I'm signing, I'm now stepping into my client's shoes. I can see that I received my listing packets, all set, ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and sign this from the client's perspective. I'll go ahead and agree, of course, accepting my e-signature terms. I can quickly jump to my signature block by clicking that start page. When I click on my signature block, of course, it'll allow me to select my signature type. I'll go ahead and select the second one here, or I can opt to draw. For those of you who prefer to draw your own signature, that is now a feature available for you. I'll choose to use this signature. Sign where I need to, of course, as my client, adding my initials and moving right on through. Ooh, we've got quite a few in my packet here today, so we'll just move right along. All right, just about done here. And last but not least, of course, I will go ahead, add that final signature and complete my signing. Thanks so much, Skyslope. Skyslope will confirm that my workflow here is done. I, of course, can download my signed documents. I can download them individually, which is very nice. Or, of course, I can just opt to view them here. I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this page. We're going to jump right back into my Skyslope platform, of course, and you can see that my status bar is now marked as complete. And that's really as easy as it gets, guys. You'll go ahead and send out your forms right on over to your clients, grab those signatures where need be, and of course can track your envelope status right here within your forms tool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, circle right on back, and we're going to quickly cover those templates. So as I mentioned, those templates is going to allow you to group your forms together, making it very easy for you to already have them bundled, and you can easily send them out for signature without needing to do that digging, doing that organizing every single time you have, of course, a new client. Now you'll be able to access and customize your templates up at the top left corner. We've got files, those are our active files, but I'm going to jump here into templates. Now you can see I've got quite a few going on, but let's go ahead and create a new one here today. When I click create template, of course, this will allow me to search between my forms. As I saw, or as I pointed out earlier, I can jump between associations using my drop-down menu. And I can create my template by simply clicking these add buttons to the right side. I can view what my template currently looks like by opening up again that pancake. Let's say I need to go ahead and remove this guy here at the bottom. No problem. I can proceed. And once I am happy that my template is complete, I can go ahead and click continue, give it a name, hit save. It will allow me to confirm that these are in fact the right forms for me. I am happy. I know that these are perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and finalize that process by clicking Save Template. That'll bring me right back to my templates page. If I need to come back here and make any adjustments at a later time, I can do so by clicking my three dots. Drop in this menu down here. I can either duplicate this template so I don't need to start from scratch, rename, remove, or add. For now, I'm going to go ahead. I'll remove this guy altogether because those two forms are not going to do me any good with any demos moving forward. All right, guys, so we have really accomplished a lot in such a short time. We've already had a chance to send these forms out. They are now signed and completed by my client. I have my templates readily available for me, so I can continue to use my forms tool flawlessly. Now I need to go ahead and circle back into my Skyslope home base because I still need to go ahead and create a property file for these forms to live in. So yes, they are currently available for me, fully executed here within my forms tool, but I do still need to submit these to my brokerage for review. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump right back into my Skyslope home base. This will bring us back to our very familiar home page here. And again, I still have my client, Mr. Scott. I have this new listing. I need to go ahead and create a home for my newly executed forms to live in. I need to go ahead and create that checklist for me to submit things in for my brokerage to review. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this by clicking create listing. And now many of you are thinking, oh, I just filled out that information. Am I going to have to do that again? Not at all. We actually have this new slide here. If I go ahead and click on our forms option, you'll notice that it gives me the option to select my recently created file out of my forms tool, that you are communicating with one another, which is very helpful for me to move on to the next question. As we know, when we are selecting what type of listing this is, it is irrelevant to the checklist that will be assigned to the property file. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and select a residential listing. Keep in mind, this is a demo account, so the type of properties that you see, of course, are going to be very familiar to you. I'll go ahead and give this property here a nice price tag. Moving forward, I'm simply entering in the information that's not relevant when I'm sending out my forms for signature, of course. This is all the extra detail that Sky is going to request of me just to finalize creating this property file. Mr. Scott and I have worked together many times in the past, so I'll go ahead and indicate him as a previous customer. And moving right along, I already have his information saved. Again, for those of you working commercial, it would be a company information available for you here. And if I had chosen to add his wife prior, her information would also show, or I can always add her now. For my California users, of course, you'll recognize that you can order your NHD or natural hazard disclosure right here within Sky. Now, if I select any of these providers here, within 24 hours, it'll upload within my property file. For now, of course, I'll go ahead and say no thanks, Sky. I'll also opt out of pre-opening escrow. And now she'll go ahead and just give me a quick view of my property file. For those of you who do choose to grab that information off of the MLS, of course, if there is a photo available, it will be provided for you here. If you'd like to add one, of course, you can click that little plus button. But for now, I am happy. I'm going to go ahead and create my listing. Perfect. This is going to lead me right here into my checklist. Now, those of you taking a look at my checklist here, you're seeing my listing documentation. They're still marked as required. Well, I thought we sent out those forms for signature. I thought we signed those. Why are we still seeing that as required? Well, that's perfect. Actually, that's exactly what we want. We're never submitting any documents into your checklist without your approval first. So we are still going to drop those fully executed forms right here into your Documents tab. Perfect. So that is really how your Forms tool is going to communicate nicely here with your property files. Much like those who are familiar with using our digital signature tool in the past, you'll know that any form or document signed through DigiSign will automatically upload back here into your property file, which is exactly what our Forms tool is going to do for you here as well. Once you create that property address, using that little slide, selecting the property address that you are working with here, all of those executed forms will live nicely into your Documents tab until you're ready to assign them to your checklist. I'm going to go ahead and do this now, just simply because I know that my documents have the needed signatures. I did that myself, so of course we know that they're done correctly. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click Attach. Wait for my internet to catch up with me here. There we go. I can see that I've got my available documents here. I'm going to go ahead and assign my listing agreement to where it needs to go. I'll go ahead and jump in, attach next my agency disclosure. Perfect. Go ahead and click Assign. Awesome, and last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and attach my seller advisory. Once again, all of these forms have already been signed using my Forms and DigiSign tool, so I know that they are ready for that broker review.
Except that's not seller advisory.
Awesome, so I am now really done with my workflow here as an agent. I went ahead, I sent out those forms over to my client for signature. Up here using my apps, of course, using my Forms tool. Once signed through DigiSign, they went ahead and came back to my property file that I have created, and I've assigned them to my checklist for review. Of course, I know my comment section here, I can add any notes that I would like to for my file reviewer, but they have already been notified that documents have been submitted, and it's ready for them to jump in, give me that green stamp of approval, of course, so I can continue on working with my clients and making sure that we are getting their property sold nice and quick, moving right along. All right, guys, I know I threw a bunch of information threw a bunch of information at you all at once here today. So I appreciate you sticking with me, and I appreciate your attendance, of course. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick breather. I know we have a ton of activity in our Q&A feature with.
Okay, I think that's probably good there. Right, and so let me just get out of here real quick.
What's exciting?
It's so exciting.
It's so awesome.
Okay.
But am I doing it wrong all the time? I always sign it as well when I send it
No,
off.
you should be signing it as well. When
I was thinking she didn't sign it.
No, I think she was just hurrying.
I was all stressed.
Yeah, no, you, as agents, you need to sign everything too.
Thank you.
You would just add it.
So when she puts the ad,
as
so if there's two signers, and
Yeah.
at the end you would.
Right. No, I use DigiSign all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was Louise's listing.
Okay,
Whatever.
any questions on that?
Gina?
You guys still with me? I just want to hear if they're awake.
Gina?
While representing buyer to make an offer, is there an integration to draft and property details like listing agent did? When representing buyer, I'm trying to understand the question. When representing buyer to make an offer for purchase,
I might be able to word it better.
is there an integration to draft and property details?
I think that was drawing in the MLS.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I know Skyslope so well, so if any of you have
Please
questions,
do.
I'm happy to help.
You know, that's a good question. Currently, we're doing all our PEDs and Glide, but I would imagine you could pull up your PED from Zipforms. I mean, from Skyslope, send it out digital signature. You just want to make sure. The thing I love so much about Glide is you can add the listing agent and everybody in there, so everybody gets a copy of it and nobody has to touch it. So Yeah, it's your preference, Eileen, whatever you choose.
You can always add, when I do my feed, I do it up through Skyslope. I pull it on Zipforms. I do it, kick it old school. Anyway, so what I do is, so as soon as my client signs the feed, I put on the listing before, when I get it all set up, I put on the listing agent as you could do a recipient, not as a signature. So they get it as soon as I know my client signed, I know the listing agent has it.
That's
I don't have to
awesome.
worry about it.
Yeah.
And that's all through Skyslope.
Yes. That's
Okay,
awesome.
well, this is what I was really asking is if there's integrations in Skyslope to pull from the MLS, like let's say I'm representing a buyer to make an offer on a property, right? Normally in Zipforms, I'm able to kind of link it with the MLS and it pulls in all the pertinent information instead of me having to manually enter it all in, like the listing agent, stuff like that. Can you do that in Skyslope?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, you could do it in 2 different locations that she showed us. So yeah, it integrates, you can pull in the MLS information. In this case, she was doing a listing, so it's not yet in the MLS, but yes, when you're working with the buyer, you can do the MLS integration and pull in that information. Good question, thank you. Laverne.
So I built templates in this. I can't figure out how to put the MSA, the AFBA, and the local area advisories into the template.
So where it says add document,
Yeah.
you'll just click on that and get it from your computer and add it right in.
Into the
Individual.
transaction, not
Yes.
the template.
You should, let me work on that. Let me work on
That's
that.
where I'm-
And
that's
here's the
the only
thing,
thing I got.
the RPA has been updated. It will be in a couple months. We could do the templates right now, but just understand, as soon as they release the new RPA, yeah, get ready for it. I know, woohoo. As soon as they bring that out, we'll have to do it again, and that's not a problem. We just will. I'm thinking of doing a template class next week, just to make sure everybody's templates are up to date. Are the forms in your Skyslope templates updated as the CAR forms change? That's a very good question, and I highly recommend that you double check that as this is rolling out. We just make sure that they're the most recent forms. Good question, David. Okay, any other questions? All righty. Then we will just move along here. We're just about done here. Don't forget, if you've not signed in up for Apex Concierge, Mark Stark's willing to pay your annual fee. You just need to do the one-on-one training session. I think it's through the end of March, so don't delay. Make sure you get there and sign up. I want you to understand, in addition to the listing side where Apex will go in and prepare a house so they get top dollar, there's also the buy before you sell portion of Apex. And I talked to a few agents, and I think some of you were had not heard that or not clear on that. If you have a buyer who has a home to sell prior to writing an offer on another property, you can phone Apex and give them the information, and they'll let you know if it's a candidate that Apex can go in and actually buy that buyer's home. So they are now free to write a non-contingent offer on their next property. When they move, now Apex will go in and fix this property up. You get the listing at full commission, and you get the sale of that as well. So it's a sweet deal. You certainly don't want to miss out on that. Do your one-on-one trading session. It's $249 a year. If you've already paid the $249, you're going to get that second year for free, but make sure you've gone in. You're getting links on the VAC. There's a link at the top. Click on it and sign up. Even if you did it already, just so that second year will kick in. Okay. All right. Marketing is always available. I want to keep this phone number in front of you. This is the number that you call. Anyone in our marketing department can help you with any of your marketing needs, your branding, if you want a logo, if you want listing presentation packets, whatever you need, they're there to help you. And then don't forget, the VAC has our calendar on it. This is all the activity that's going on this week. There's training on the VAC, there's trainings on the website. So make sure that if you're not feeling up to speed on this, you just come to the calendar on the VAC. When you click on the location, it gives you the hyperlink to to either Google Hangouts or Zoom, whichever it is, and it'll take you right to the meeting. So just wanted to remind you about that. And let me stop sharing and go to plugs and wants. Do you have any plugs or wants questions? No, I think we're good. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. If you have any questions at all, let me know. I'm here for you. Oh, here is that one. Yep. No, that's it. And then let's make it a great day. All right. So thank you. And oh, don't forget, Tuesday is our big awards next Tuesday. So I hope to see everybody. If not here, I'm here. And huh? Oh, that was a new. Okay, we're good to go. So thanks, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Let me know if I can help you in any way.
Bye, Gina.
Bye-bye. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Leighton.
Happy birthday again, Leighton.
Happy birthday, Leighton. Bye, Gina. Good meeting. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy birthday, Leighton.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Gina. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, Daryl.
Oh, we should have done that. That would have been fun. It's also Nelson's wife's birthday today. Okay.
Thank you, Gina.
You're welcome. Bye, Josie.
She's in
Hi,
the crowd.
Shannon.
Hi, thank you.
Hi,
Happy birthday, Nathan.
Thank you.